Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed.
Alrighty, let's take a look at our study guide for Chapter 5, Test 1. We are going to be taking the test after we get done reviewing this, and so let's make sure that everybody understands the basics of what it takes to solve these types of problems. We're going to start with the front side, or the first page, which has to do with the percent problems. And if you recall, we talked about back when we were doing these lessons, there's a simple proportion, which I refer to as the percent proportion, that you can follow whenever you're solving these problems. And that is, you identify a part, you identify the total, and you identify the percent within the word problem. And generally, they're going to tell you two of these parts. And the third one becomes your variable that you will solve using proportional reasoning. So I've got this little board over here that I'm going to use. Maybe I'll put it right there for now. And I'm going to go over problem number 1 and highlight the different parts of this. So I'm going to say part will be highlighted in yellow, total in green, and in blue I will highlight the percent. So remember, we got to find 2 of these 3 and put them in the appropriate place. So Sarah's English class had 90 questions. Sarah's English test had 90 questions, and she got 18 questions wrong. What percent of the questions did she get correct? Okay, so it says the test had 90 questions. Does that represent the total number of questions on the test, or just some of the questions on the test? Sounds to me like this is the total, so I'm going to highlight the total here, and then I'm going to create my percent proportion, which I know has 100 in the denominator, and I'm going to write this number in place of the total in the denominator of this fraction. Then it says she got 18 questions wrong, so that represents the part. So I'm going to highlight this for the part. And I'm not going to quite write this up there yet because there's something I want to talk to you about, because there's a common answer, a wrong answer that students are going to get on this. Then it says, what percent of the questions did she get correct? So when it asks what percent, then that obviously is where our variable is going to go. So I'm going to put my variable here. Now let's read this a little bit further, and it says, what percent of the questions did she get correct? So we know here she got 18 wrong, which means she must have gotten, what is 90 minus 18? Is that 72? She must have gotten 72 correct. So if you put an 18 here and you solved for x, you would have gotten the percent she got wrong. But if you write a 72 in here, that's going to give you the percent that she gets correct. So you could do one of 2 things. You could put the 18 in here and then solve for x and then take the complement of that percent, or take the complement of this situation. She got 18 wrong, so she must have gotten 72 correct. So let's go ahead and work through using this, and that'll give us our actual answer. Okay, so now you've got a couple of choices that Now you've got a couple of choices that you can make here. Let me move this guy to here. You can just cross multiply if you'd like to. That's not a problem. You take 90 times x, and that's going to be 90x. And you take 72 times 100, and that's 7,200. And now to figure out what x is equal to, 90 times x is 7,200. So 7,200 divided by 90 will tell you what x is equal to. So if I divide that by 90, I'm dividing both sides by 90, so that cancels out. My answer for my percent will be 7,200 divided by 90. So I'll pull up my calculator, move it over so we can see this. Take 7,200 divided by 90, and you get 80. So that's our answer, 80%. X is equal to 80. So since our answer is supposed to be a percent, we will label that as 80%. Now with all of these word problems, remember, you've got to label them. In the money problems, you would label it as dollars. In the questions problem, you would say, okay, that was 72 questions, or 90 questions, or 18 questions. All of these are word problems which require you to do your math, but also declare your answer with a certain word label to tell us what it is that number refers to. Okay, So that's the process that we are going to be going through when we check all of this on the study guide. Okay, so let's do problem number 2. And then the rest of them, I'm going to let you do those. If you have any questions about those, I will go over all of this in class. And if you had a question for me, hopefully you'd be able to contact me before you complete the chapter test, and I can go over it with you. So let's read about cargo pants. Cargo pants that regularly sell for $36 are on sale for 30% off. All right, I see the percent sign there, so I know that's going to be my percent. So remember, we're going to take some number out of another number is going to be equal to a percent, which in this case we know is 30 out of 100. Okay, so what does the 36 represent? Is that the total, or is that the amount of the discount? The discount is always a part, correct? Wait. The discount is always considered a part. The regular sale price would be the original price, which would be the original total. So this is going to be the total. So we're going to put 36 in the denominator, and we're trying to find out the amount of the discount. So if this question were asking what's the new price going to be, you might consider writing a 70 in there, because if it's 30% off, that means you're paying 70% of the original price. But this does want to know how much the discount was, so we're going to leave it like this. Now, I'm going to show you another strategy that I didn't show you on the previous problem that might come in handy. Once you've got this proportion set up, you are allowed to simplify fractions if that makes it easier. For instance, 30 over 100 is equal to 3 over 10. So now you look at that and say, hey, I've identified a giant 1 here. I think if I multiply 10 times 3.6, that would give me 36. So I'm just going to figure out what 3 times 3.6 is, and that should give me my amount of my discount. So we take our calculator, we take 3 times 3.6, and we get 10.8. And so that ends up being $10.80. And please make sure you put in the pennies. A lot of people write their answer as 10.8, forgetting that money has 2 decimal places. Put in that second decimal place, okay? So there's the process. Now, let's say you didn't think about doing that. Let me go ahead and get back to where I was before. Okay, if you just want to go straight with the original proportion that we have, it's totally okay to do that. You end up getting 100 times x is equal to 36 times 30. Let's see what we get for 36 times 30 gives you 1,080. And so now when you divide both sides by 100, 1,080 divided by 100 gives you your answer of 10.8. So once again, $10.80. So it's really, really important as you're reading through these percent problems that you identify what the part is, what the total is, and what the percent is. Then you set it up in your percent proportion. You will find 2 of those pieces of information, and the third piece is going to be missing because that's what it is you're trying to answer for the question, and so that becomes your variable. Okay, so take all of this, clear that away. These are the rest of the answers. If you have any questions about the rest of it, please contact me and I will help you figure out how to get those answers. Now for the back side, or the second side, this is where we start working on probability. And so with the probability problems, some situations are simple probability, some are a little bit more challenging. Remember, probability is that ratio of the number of desired outcomes over the total number of outcomes. And if you want to express that as a percent, then we just do what we did with the percent problems on the previous side or previous page, where you convert this into a percent using the percent proportion. But I don't think any of these require us to do a percent, but on the chapter test, they will be expressed as percent. So you're going to want to do that. Okay, so what does this say? It says one die numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is rolled. What is the probability of getting either a 1 or a 6? Okay, so if you get a 1, it's a winner, and if you get a, nope. If you get a 1, it's a winner, and if you get a 6, it's a winner. So that means you've got 2 out of the 6 are considered winners, so that is the probability, but you would want to write it in simplest form as 1/3. Mary is playing a game in which she rolls one die and spins a spinner. So here's the die. It's a standard number die, so you see the 1, 2, and the 3, but then there's going to be a 4, 5, and a 6 on the sides that you can't see. And then here's a spinner. It looks like 3 equal parts where you got blue, red, and black. So the probability of getting a 3 is 1 out of 6. The probability of getting a black is 1 out of 3. So if you're trying to find out what is the probability that she gets both a 3 and a black, this is a situation where you could use a probability table listing all the possible combinations and figure out how many of them have a 3 coupled with a black. And when you do that, you start to realize, oh, that's right. When you had to do something that involved the word and, we always multiplied the 2 probabilities together. So if I take the probability of rolling a 3, that's a 1/6 probability, and multiply it times the probability of getting a black, which is 1/3, then you get 1 times 1 is 1, and 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, now just remember the logic here. Let's go back to problem number 1. When you're using the word or, that means you are increasing your likelihood that you will get a winner. If you have to roll a 1, it's a 1/6 probability. If you have to roll a 6, that's a 1/6 probability. But if both of them are allowed, right? 1/6 plus 1/6 was 2/6. You added those 2 probabilities together. So when you're working with the either or situation, you always add your individual probabilities together. But the idea here is a little bit more challenging. If you have to get both a 3 and a black, that makes it harder to get what you want to win. So while it's 1/6 probability just to get the 3, you could get a 1/6 and then roll a blue, and then that's a losing proposition. So the multiplication makes it more challenging, and that's why that's the correct move here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the whole probability table here. Let me do it with black. And so we'll put all the numbers across the top. So you get the number 1. Oh, no. Hold on. You got the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I will take and do something like this. And then on the side, you've got the 3 colors. You got your blue, you got your red, and you got your black. So I'm going to go ahead and take and break this guy up into 3 equal parts. I'm going to break this guy up into 6 equal parts. I don't care if they're evenly spaced. Doesn't really make that much of a difference for this. Okay, so you've got a blue 1. Oh, no. Hold on for a second. I'm going to color coordinate this to make it a little easier. I'll use that. You got a blue 1, you got a blue 2, you got a blue 3, you got a blue 4, you got a blue 5, and you got a blue 6. Then you've got a red 1, a red 2, a red 3, a red 4, a red 5, and a red 6. Then the last one, you got your black 1, black 2, black 3, black 4, black 5, and black 6. Now, how many total cells are in there? A total of 18, right? That's what you got when you multiplied the 3 times the 6. And now, how many of these combinations involve both a 3 and a black? That's the only one right there. So 1 out of the 18, and that's why our compound probability is 1/18 for this situation. All right, any other problems in here? Oh, there's one that was similar. Okay. Let's see what this says. A spinner is divided into 8 equal sections. The sections are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. What's the probability of spinning a 2, 3, or a 4? So you got a 2, a 3, or a 4. So that's 3 out of the 8 possibilities. So it's 3/8. That was too easy. How about this one? Patty has a box of 12 colored pencils. There are 2 blue, 1 black, 1 gray, 3 red, and 2 green, an orange, a purple, and a yellow, for a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 total colored pencils. And oh, it said it was 12 right there. Okay, good to know. There's 12. All right, So Patty closes her eyes and chooses one pencil. She's hoping to choose a green or a red. So a green, there's 2 green, and there are 3 red for a total of 5 of those 2 colors out of the 12. So your answer ends up being 5 out of 12. I think the rest of them are pretty straightforward. Let me do number 6, though. This is one that students typically get wrong, and I just want to go through and discuss this. It says, on the way to school, the school bus must go through 2 traffic signals. The first light is green for 25 seconds out of each minute. So that is 25 out of the 60 seconds, it is green. And the second light is green for 35 seconds out of each minute. So that's 35 out of 60. And then it says, what's the probability that both lights will be green on the way to school? So that means that this one and this one will be green. This is a multiplication process. So you can multiply straight across and simplify the fraction, or I would recommend we simplify these ratios before multiplying them. So 25 out of 60, it looks like those have 5 in common. So if you divide this by 5, it gives you 5, and if you divide that by 5, it gives you 12, and that's the simplified version. This also has 5 in common, so that's going to simplify down to 6 out of 12. And now when you multiply 5 times 7, you get 35, and 12 times 12 is 144. Okay, now, if you express these answers as percents instead of as fractions, well, I guess maybe you just need to contact me and let me know if your percent answers match the ones here, because I don't want to go through and do all of them. I mean, I know that's 33 1/3%. I think that's 37.5%. And this one looks like it's probably somewhere around 8.3% or something like that. But I'm not sure about 35 out of 144 or 1 out of 18. So if you did write them as percent and you want to know if you got everything right, let me know and I will verify that for you. Okay, so that concludes our review of the study guide, and now it's time to go over and complete the chapter test. Good luck. Please show all of your work. Please double check every single part that you've completed before you choose your answer and submit your test. Okay, take care. Bye.
Hey, feeling good.